Hi everyone, my talk today focuses on how globalisation is shaping the Australian education profession. Globalisation refers to international movements of goods, capital, people, culture, and ideas. I will focus on two critical and interlinked global impacts relevant to my career objectives as a Japanese teacher and Hisey teacher. The imperative for CLD and interculturalism. Secondly, the imperative of environmental sustainability and climate justice. As a prospective Japanese teacher, the most significant global force is the enhancement of cultural and linguistic diversity, known as CLD, underpinned by cross-border movement and economic growth. Australian policy is illustrative of this in that the Melbourne Declaration asserts that Australia must become Asia literate in order to actively connect and develop close and sustained mutual relations with Asia as a whole. This is a policy that has directly verified the career I have chosen and that dictates I must teach about more than just grammar. It means that I need to make continual changes in my pedagogical practice to create intercultural competence by having an understanding of how all students in my classroom can interact not only with my Japanese content but their cultural backgrounds. This calls for a change in pedagogical practice from local isolation. My classroom becomes a centre for global education. The practice of language learning is inherently intercultural. I will use Japanese to foster intercultural dialogue and promote traits like open-minded and knowledgeable on the IB learner profile. Studying the Japanese concept of mottainai, or regret over waste, for instance, is both linguistic and cultural learning. Also, this directly relates to my interest in Hisey. By comparing the Australian and Japanese worldviews on identity or history, I arm students with the tools necessary to critically examine the cultural elements contributing to globalisation, aiding with their transition into actual global citizens. The urgency of climate crisis is the second major global impact. I am considering this under a framework informed by Sartorius and the Anthropocene. This just means we are now living in an age when human activity is the ultimate destructive force on the planet. In Australia, this is covered through the sustainability cross-curriculum priority. My future Hisey classes will need to move beyond introductory lessons on the environment. The curriculum explicitly invites us to teach the cultural, social, and political causes of the crisis. I'm going to do this using the three core concepts I'm instructed to do by the priority: systems, worldviews, which is the source of cultural insights by which my Japanese teaching comes in so handy, and futures. That supports students to take steps to face the crisis head-on. These two enormous global forces, cultural diversity and sustainability, will shape my career. In my Hisey classes, I must become an intercultural competence agent in the Japanese classroom and an activist educator, as Sartorius defines it. This means my work could be driven by climate justice, teaching for structural change and equity. I will make this operational in place-based education, which links up the international situations and local community and school issues we were addressing. Therefore, globalisation requires me to behave as an Australian teacher who is more than in terms of efficacy, but as a citizen capable of adaptability and social responsibility. My task is to navigate the competing demands at AITSL's external standards with the moral requirement to make a call of professional judgment. Thank you.